In this tutorial, we're going to talk about something that's not often given much thought, and it's the follow through, it's the finish. Now, if you're changing your golf swing, everything has to change, particularly the follow through and the finish, because ultimately what you're changing is your release pattern, and that's going to change how the club follows through and ultimately where it goes. It's probably also going to change the timing patterns of your accelerations and things like that. So you're probably going to have more momentum probably later in the swing at a point where normally your golf club would be decelerating, and it's probably going to be accelerating either later or for longer, and then decelerating later with the body. And it's the deceleration of the body that allows the acceleration of the club. And this is what often can throw confusion into the works and destabilization. And then the nervous system starts to react and ultimately try to take you back to what you used to do. And what we want to do is we want these new movements or new feelings, we want to reinforce them, embed them, we want to groove them, we want to feel some repetition with it to a degree, but the body needs to feel safe doing it. We've just run an amazing first GRF Golf School with Mind Factor, Carl Morris, one of the world's leading performance coaches, at an amazing place, 2-day golf school. It's been fantastic at West Arts, hasn't it?
Yeah, great 2 days, wonderful location, incredible weather, a really good group. It's been a special couple of days.
And myself and the team are going to be coming out to Utah. GRF Golf's coming to America. Got spaces available at our golf schools. And if you'd like to experience GRF Golf School, we'd love to see you there to help transform your game. And it's something, Carl, you've seen firsthand over the last 2 days, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been involved in golf for an awful long time now, 30 odd years, coaching at the sort of thick end of things. And I have to say the 2 days I've spent here with Marcus and his team, it's just blown me away. It's a fantastic, life-changing, golf-changing experience where you'll spend time with this guy and you'll explore elements of the game that you've perhaps not done before. But above anything else, what I think you'll get from coming for the school with Marcus is you'll get a sense of what could be truly possible with your golf in the future. To me, it's really exciting that you could put a lot of patterns that have held you back for so long, explore some of your ideas and really start to play a game that perhaps at the moment you could only dream of. It's a very, very special 2 days.
Thanks, Carl. That means so much. That's a ringing endorsement. Very, very excited to come out and share this with you guys. So if you're interested, follow all the links. You can book in. There's some spaces still available, so jump in quick, and we look forward to seeing you in Utah. What I want you to do is I want you to drop your golf club if you've got a club in your hand. Okay, or if you're at home just watching this in front of the TV, I just want you to put your hands on your hips, and I want you to just get into your golf posture, and I want you to just rotate to the target. Okay, just imagine you're rotating to the target. Now imagine you're rotating to the target in your golf swing. Now, what does this feel like to you? Can you actually recognise what your follow through feels like without the golf club? Do you have any association with your movement without having to actually have the golf club in hand as a reference for orientation? Because we can recognise movement generally in every other part of our life without having the actual instrument or object in our hands. You could simulate tennis, table tennis, a throw. No matter how good or bad you are at it, you could simulate it. Using a knife and fork, any action you make in life, you could simulate it generally without the actual object. But in golf, it's so different. It's almost like we need the golf club. And we need this, and this is our sense of kind of recognition of what we're doing. This is our reference, because we've always focused on the golf club so much that we've kind of lost sense of where we are in space with our body. So I want to take the club away, and I want you to feel what it's like to use your body to get into a finish. Now, some of you might just be doing this and just turning your chest over your leg, and your legs might not really doing anything. They might just be really passive and literally just there to keep you upright. Or are we actually using our legs to drive the action, to drive the pelvis, to stabilise the pelvis, which would in turn let the torso fire? So, can we actually feel what it's like to have a more aggressive, dynamic, explosive load and unload into a finish? Or, like I did at the beginning, did you just do this? Really, just a follow through is normally just an afterthought in the golf swing, and very just kind of passive and really almost being nonchalant about it, just not really thinking much. Yeah, this is my follow through. I need the club because I've hit the ball. What does it matter? I've hit the ball. My follow through happens after the ball. Well, your follow through is a result of striking the golf ball, and we need to recognise what that finish is. So I want you to put your hands on your hips this time, get into your golf posture. And what we're going to do is we're going to just push off the lead toe into the heel. Now, by pushing off the lead toe into the heel, it's going to help push the knee back. So we're going to snap that knee back, and that's going to allow you to rotate your pelvis. So you're actually using that action to rotate the pelvis, as opposed to just trying to twist the pelvis. And now the foot isn't really assisting the action, it's just kind of, it's there to hopefully try and keep you upright, maintain some stability, but it's not really actively engaged as part of this, the whole firing pattern. It's not part of the system. We're not really pushing off the ground, but we are going to now, we're going to push off from the toe into the heel. Okay, now if you can't feel that, we're going to really delve into the sensation of the toe to heel. So I want you to just put your feet together fairly close and just bend your knees. Imagine the toes are the accelerators and the heels are the brakes, and I want you to push from your toes to your heels and slide yourself back, and let your legs extend and let your knees extend and let the knees push the heels of your feet into the back of the shoes. So there's a sliding action. Okay. Now, let's take our normal stance and let's do that now just with our left foot. Just push it back. Okay, and now take a normal stance again. This time, we're going to use that action, not so much to push the heel back, but to rotate the pelvis. So let the pelvis rotate in response to that push off into the heel. And allow the hip to go back. Now this might be an unusual feeling. I want you to actually explore in this finish more shift. You can see here I'm going into the outside of my lead foot. The pressure's actually shifting not just onto the outside, not just to the lateral border, but it's also migrating and moving around the lateral border to the heel. So the ankle now is taking the load. And I'm actually slightly on the outside of the ankle here. Now this is a very, very stable place for your body, because when you strike in walking, okay, when you heel strike, you will strike like this. Generally it's slightly lateral of the midline towards the outside of the heel, that is. Towards, not on the outside of the heel. But it's there, it's moving towards it. And what it is, it's a very solid, stable structure, that foot now. It can take your force. The body's used to this. An extended leg, a heel strike. And now what's happening is the glutes are actually decelerating the whole action. Ready for planting the foot and then going to push off again. Let's try that again. Let's put the left foot, lead foot forward, my left foot was a right-hander. I just want to slide my hip to the left. Now, can you see what that's doing? I've got some lateral flexion now. I've moved away from the hip, okay, and I'm on the heel. Now, taking a normal stance, can you push? You're not raising the toe to do it, you're not raising the foot to do it. Can you push from the toe to the heel and let your hip move into that space? Now, it's going to move into that space even more because you're going to rotate too, you're going to rotate the pelvis. Now this is counterbalancing me. This is stability around a very firm base, but it's stability through mobility. It's a dynamic motion. And this is a very abrupt deceleration phase of the gait cycle, and it's a movement pattern that the body knows for decelerating. It's the same in the golf swing. It's a decelerating pattern. Now, the glutes, they operate three-dimensionally, so they're going to let the hip shift, they're going to let the hip drop, they're going to let the hip rotate, they're going to let it lift as well, so it's got up and down, side to side, and rotation. So the glutes are primary movers, but they're also stabilizers. So not only are they allowing this pelvis to fire, but they're also going to help you stabilize, providing you're using that solid structure at the ground, the foot, in the right way. Now, what I see all too often is people almost pirouetting on the forefeet, spinning, and they never really get off the forefeet, and they're not really using the hips to rotate the pelvis. There's a lot of hip rotation here, but no pelvis rotation. We need to move, i.e. shift pressure from toe to heel, heel to toe, to move the hips back and forth in this direction, which rotates the pelvis. And this is what we're going to focus on. Hands on hips, using that lead toe, push into the heel, and let that hip, let it move, let it sway. And notice how stable this is now. And it's effortless. Or it's less effort. You're getting stability without having to tension the body. Because as soon as we start making movements like this, and the body's in flexion, we're having to use muscular force across the joints for tension, for stability. And that's going to stop the pivot. The arms are so overactive, and the body starts to preempt this time to time to time. The body knows what's coming, so it starts to preempt it, and it starts to adapt your downswing, your release, and decelerate it earlier, so it's not compromised in the follow through balance wise. So we've got to give the body, the nervous system, the security, the comfort, knowing that it can use all this motion, so you can actually accelerate the club later, release later, which is going to give you much more powerful impact. So how can we ensure we're doing this? Because I see a lot of people in an anterior tilt. I see a lot of people who are in hip flexion and rotating like this. It might be you. And now look, there's nowhere to go. How do we unload off the floor and extend to transfer all this torque through the body to sequence if I'm stuck in flexion? I can't rotate, I can't extend, I can't sequence because I'm stuck in flexion. So I end up looking something like this. So how can we ensure we extend? Now, to extend, we need to engage the glutes. Now, I don't want you to think about this in a golf swing. This is just an exercise. But what I want you to do is I want you to contract the glutes. I want you to squeeze the butt cheeks. Okay, so we're going to start here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to squeeze the glutes into that finish. And squeeze them tight here. Why are we doing this? Well, if you bend down and go into flexion, try and squeeze your glutes now. It's very, very difficult because it's more quad dominant. It's more of an anterior chain here that's being used for stability. But as soon as we start to push off the toes, we can fire the glutes. So what I want you to do, try this with me, a little squat, doesn't have to be deep. Okay, just bend down, you're being hip flexion. Load the toes. Now I want you to push off your toes. And as you push off your toes, I want you to squeeze your glutes. And look what it does. Pops your pelvis. So we can ensure here that we're doing it. See the pelvis now, look, it's neutral. It's the glutes. They're on, okay? Now you're not gonna have to think about this every time, you're not gonna have to do this every time, guys. It's only an exercise just to ensure the pelvis is moving this way. And you're not going to be standing up. This is not an early extension. This is not a pelvic thrust because it's three-dimensional. Because you're going to be dropping and rotating in your downswing, ready to push off and rotate in your through swing. So the forces are going to cancel themselves out. You're going to maintain posture. But we've got to feel it, guys. So I want you to put your hands on your hips, and we're going to really work on this lead side. Now what I want you to do is I want you to rotate away, so as if you were rotating for your backswing, but I want you to lower the toe. So you're going to drop and lower the toe. Okay, so you can feel some load on the left side. Notice I'm rotating away from the target. Now I'm going to push off the toe and I'm going to squeeze my glutes into the finish. And now I can feel where the foot is. Look how high my toe is off the floor. I'm not saying this has to happen in the golf swing, guys. Your toe might be down, don't worry about that. We're just really accentuating that push off into the heel. So it's almost like an over-emphasis, just so we recognise it and feel it. So you counter-rotate, load into the left at the same time, and then push off back. And get used to that push off, firing the glutes. So you're going to push off the toes to twist the body and fire the glutes at the same time. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the glutes to do it. Get used to this extension through the hips, this pelvis that's shifted to the target as well. Because that allows us to counterbalance the golf club with the upper body. So we're not going forward with the club. Because this is pulling you. And you've got to be able to counterbalance it. So my pelvis needs to go that way for me to counterbalance it. Not a lot. This is not putting excessive crunch in your lower back, because you're just rotating at the same time. There's a little bit of extension, a little bit of shift. It's not excessive. It's just that most people don't get anywhere near it. Most people are still stuck in flexion and rotating and have hampered follow-throughs and just can't get any speed. So what I want you to do then is make some practice swings, just little half swings, guys. And I want you to do a step drill. So you're going to start with your feet together. And as you swing the club back, just a half swing, you're going to take a step forward, little step, and you're going to drop. Now this puts us into flexion, which is perfect. And we're rotated back. So we've wound the body up and we're ready to go. Now we're going to squeeze the glutes for the finish. Squeeze the glutes, keep them on. So it's here. So now we're going to squeeze the glutes. We're going to really fire the glutes and keep them switched on right to the end. Ready? So I'm going to start here. So we're not firing the glutes yet. It's only after we've made the step to make the finish. We're firing the glutes to make the finish. So the step is normal, just falling into the floor. And now fire the glutes. Squeeze them, keep them switched on. So you can explore the feeling of what it's like to drive the pelvis. And then you can do it with the golf ball. Little swing, squeeze the glutes to the finish, keep them on. Just keep them on. And then relax them. Okay? And then hit a few shots now without having to do that. Because we don't want to be able to consciously fire the glutes in a golf swing. We're not doing that. It's just an exercise. So now we hit a shot and we're going to let ourselves feel the same motion to the finish. Same finish. You're just feeling where that motion took you. But we're ensuring by just doing the exercise by firing the glutes that we get into that space with the pelvis and this form in the finish. And then we can do it without having to consciously think about activating the glutes. We don't want to be doing that. We're just going to let ourselves go straight into that finish. There's a reaction. And just make some nice easy swings, just playing around with the feel. Just play around with it. So guys, lots of detail there. I hope you've enjoyed it, delving in, because it's been quite a deep dive that into the intricacies of these movement patterns in terms of muscle function, joint actions. But it's important that we have a concept of what's going on, so we can actually build some feelings around a true belief system. This is what's actually happening. This is going to give me stability. These are fundamentals to let a movement. These are movement principles, fundamentals, if you like, to allow you to let yourself go, because it's what the body needs. It needs the security of stability, but within the dynamic motion of a golf swing. And this is how we're doing it. And they're movements that the body already knows. It's a deceleration phase of walking. And it's exactly the same in the golf swing, but with a lot more rotation, of course. But it's the same role that these joints are playing for us. So we can use it, we can tap into those. So let me know how you get on, guys. Look forward to seeing your comments below. See you later.